everyone, this is Dr. Nisha Najmuddin. So today we'll be discussing a series of concepts such as infant mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, total fertility rate and labor force participation rate in this video. All those who have missed concept 1 to 10, please go to the playlist of this particular video so that all the concepts will be brushed for you people. Having said that, to begin with, the very first topic of discussion is infant mortality rate. And by the way, all these topics are important for the prelims and mains examination. And if you see, total fertility rate, it was asked in 2024 prelims examination. Okay. Having said that, what is infant mortality rate? In simple terms, the number of death of infant or children per 1,000 live birth. To make it even more simple, I can tell you that how many number of children are dying under 1 year of age as soon as they are born, and that is calculated per 1,000 live birth. That is called as infant mortality rate in simple terms. Now, infant mortality rate has been declining over the years. The government has taken lot of conscious policy and efforts to do the same. If you see, compared to previous year data, as per the recent 2023-24 data, the infant mortality rate for India stands at 25 per 1,000 live birth, which means that out of 1,000 live birth, 25 death of infants is happening. Previously in 2021 and all, it was 30 per 1,000 live birth. Slowly and gradually, it has been showing a declining trend. Now, another associated concept of IMR is neonatal mortality rate. So now, neonatal mortality rate means again the same thing, the same definition of infant mortality rate with just a minor difference. Neonatal mortality rate, it refers to the number of death of infants or children within 28 days or within 1 month after they are born per 1,000 live birth. That is called as neonatal mortality rate. This is basically to understand that as soon as a child is born, how vulnerable they are to death within a short span of 28 days or 1 month. For that purpose only, neonatal mortality rate was brought in. If you see over the years, neonatal mortality rate or the number of death of infants within 28 days has also shown a declining trend. In 2021-22, it was 22. The death was 22. But as per recent data, the neonatal mortality rate has reduced to 20 deaths per 1,000 live birth, which means progress has been happening. So now, having said that, the state with the lowest IMR, that is the lowest death rate with regard to infants, infant mortality rate is the state of Kerala. And we all know that the state of Kerala ranked number 1 for the Human Development Index as well. Similarly, the Indian state with the largest or highest infant mortality rate, as usual, the state of Bihar, followed by Orissa and Chhattisgarh ranks number 1. 1, 2, 3 like that. Okay. Now, having said that, the next important topic of discussion is MMR. What is that? Maternal mortality rate. So now we were talking about infants or children's death. So now it is time for us to talk about the maternal or the mother or the pregnant women who are dying. So maternal mortality rate means it refers to the total number of death of pregnant women, either during pregnancy or during childbirth, or it refers to the death of women, or let's say termination of pregnancy within 42 days. So all these comes under maternal mortality rate. So now this maternal mortality rate is calculated not per 1,000 live birth. It is calculated per 1 lakh live birth. The basic difference between IMR and MMR is that IMR is calculated per 1,000 live birth. MMR is calculated per 1 lakh live birth, because that is a huge proportion ratio, right? So now how many mothers are dying? Whether they are giving birth or during pregnancy or there is a termination, means what? Abortion, right, of pregnancy, and the time gap frame is 42 days, 42 to 45 days, approximately 42 days. Then that ratio will come under what? Maternal mortality rate. Having said that, India has also experienced a significant decline in the maternal mortality rate. If you see, in 1990, the MMR of our country, India, was very high. It was more than 500, approximately 556 deaths per 1 lakh live birth. And that was a huge number. Lack of access to proper medical facilities, lack of nutritional food, all these factors was leading to such huge amount of death. So over the years, slowly and gradually, we could see a decline. If you see, in 2015-16, there was a reduction in the maternal mortality rate by 68%, which means from 556 deaths per 1 lakh live birth, it became 174. 174 MMR rate was 174 in 2015-16 per 1 lakh live birth. So more than 50%, approximately 68% decline was visible. Again, over the years, this trend was declining. And today, as per recent data, I can tell you that from a triple digit to double digit, the maternal mortality rate has come up. If you see, as for the recent 2023-24 data, the maternal mortality rate stands at 97 deaths per 1 lakh live birth. And now, as for the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, it is said that India has agreed to the target or objective of achieving or reducing the maternal mortality rate to 70 per 1 lakh live birth by 2030. So these are the current affairs that you should know with regard to what? Maternal mortality rate, along with the concept as a whole. These points can be used for the mains answer writing as well. Even for the interview also, if a question is asked based on the MMR, what do you think? It has been declining. You can use all these points. It will be quite effective as well. So apart from telling you the concepts alone, a proper interengaging them with the current affairs will add a lot of impetus or value to your learnings. Having said that, the next important topic of discussion is TFR, total fertility rate. Now again, total fertility rate is also connected to what? To the maternal or the mothers, right? So now, TFR or total fertility rate, it refers to the average number of birth a woman can give during her childbearing age. In simple terms, how much children a woman can have throughout her lifetime. That is in her reproductive age between 15 to 49. What is the capacity of women to have a child? That is called as total fertility rate in simple terms. For example, if you see in 1950s, okay, the total fertility rate of a woman, that is the capacity of a woman to produce a child throughout her lifetime within her reproductive age of 15 to 49 was 6. She could bear 6 children maximum or minimum during 1950. Over the years, the total fertility rate has been declining due to multiple reasons, which we will discuss as well. Okay. So now, if you see in 2023-24 data, it is said that the TFR, total fertility rate, stands at 2. It was actually 2.1. Now it has become 2, which means that today, as per the recent data, a woman can have or produce only minimum or let's say maximum of 2 children during her entire lifetime of her reproductive age. This is the meaning of TFR is equal to 2. There are so many reasons, as I told you. One is lifestyle changes. Second is the empowerment of women. They get more awareness. Let's say, for example, even the conscious policy efforts taken by the government, like family planning program, all these things has led to what? Reduction in the population. Automatically, that has also contributed to the total fertility rate ka reduction. Apart from that, use of contraceptives like birth control pills, other contraceptive perspectives, all these have also led to what? A decline in the total fertility rate. Apart from that, reversible spacing. there is something called as reversible spacing. This is also another factor which has led to what? Which has led to a decline in the total fertility rate. In simple terms, the gaps between children. For example, some of your siblings, you will be the eldest one. Your sibling will be 5 years younger to you, or 8 years younger to you, or 10 years younger to you. So some people will have only 1 or 2 years difference, right? But these days, if you see, the decision to have a second child among the parents or the couples is not that frequent like before. You can see an age gap of 5 years, 8 years like that. So as the age gap increases, the chances of having another baby also decreases due to fertility issues as well, right? So now that has also contributed to what? A decline in the total fertility rate. Having said that, this is a 2024 question and it's a very simple question. What is TFR in simple terms? And the answer was the average number of children a woman would have. A woman can give birth or a woman would have in her childbearing age. That's it. As simple as that. That is the UPSC keyword. Having said that, there is another related concept of total fertility rate, which you should know. Sometimes for the examination, this can also be coming up, right? It is also a probable topic. So, replacement level fertility. That is a related topic. So now, replacement level fertility in simple terms means if the total fertility rate is 2.1, if the TFR is equal to 2.1, that is called as replacement level fertility. In simple terms, what is the capacity of a population to be replaced? If the TFR, total fertility rate, is lesser or lower than what? If it is lower than 2.1, the meaning of that is it indicates a generation is not able to produce enough number of children to replace itself. Automatically, what is meaning of that? The population is gradually or eventually declining. Let's say, for example, another generation becomes a question mark because there is no capacity at all to produce. So it is replacing, right? That is called as replacement level fertility in simple terms. This is also another important topic to be understood in the most simplified manner. Don't complicate yourself. That is it. Whatever I have told you is the keywords of this particular topic. Okay. Now, having said that, the last topic of discussion is what? It is labor force participation rate. Now, labor force participation rate in simple terms means what? In simple terms means the percentage of people in the labor force. In simple terms, how many people are working? You will think that the total number of people who are employed will come under what? Labor force participation. No, that is not the case. It also has so many other points also. In simple terms, labor force participation rate means it refers to the percentage of persons in labor force, which means somebody who is already working or already employed, or somebody who is looking or seeking for work, or somebody who is available for work. All these categories comes under what? Labor force participation rate. As for recent 2024 data, the labor force participation rate has shown an increase of more than 60%. Indeed, if you see the labor force participation rate among males and females also, for males it is more than 78%. The labor force participation has increased. The number of people working or looking for work has become 78. Whereas women's or females, it has also increased, which is a very great thing. It has become 41%. So previously, if you see, this was not the case. Now, to talk about the female labor force participation rate, FLPR. That is the percentage of women who are in the labor force, who's actually working or who's looking for work. When it comes to female, it is called as what? Female labor force participation. It has been previously declining. If you see in 2019-20, what happened was like the female labor force participation was less than 20%. It was only 19%. But what happened over the years? Through conscious efforts by the government, slowly and gradually, there has been an increase in the female labor force participation rate. It has become to 37% in 2023. It was more than 4.6% increase compared to 2022. And now in 2024 again from 37%, it has increased to what? 41%, which shows that there has been a progress in the female labor force participation rate. More women are getting empowered, not only economically, socially, culturally and politically, which means that even political participation of females has been growing slowly and gradually. For example, the Nari Shakti program, where 33% reservation was given to whom? The female or the women candidates. So all these are showing that the female labor force participation is increasing, and this is a good figure. But when you compare the female labor force participation with that of male participation, a lot more has to be done, because there's a huge difference. It is more than 70% for males, right? 78%. So slowly and gradually the ratio is increasing. This is what you should know with regard to what? The labor force participation rate. And a small topic for you to know. Now, when you study labor force participation rate, I told you people who are working, already working, or looking for work, or who is available for work comes under what? Labor force participation. Now, there is something called as workforce participation rate, WPR. It is called as workforce participation rate. That refers to the percentage of people who are employed. It only measures or takes into consideration how many people are working currently or who are employed. Those who are looking for work or those who are available for work, that will not be considered. Okay, that comes under what? Workforce participation rate. So these are some of the important concepts along with the current affairs that you should know for your UPSC CSE examination. I hope this has provided more useful insights to you for both your prelims and mains preparation. So don't forget to subscribe the channel and put your valuable feedbacks in the comment box. And also you can put forward the concepts or topics that you want me to do for the upcoming classes. So stay tuned for more videos. Thank you and Jai Hind.